about to go down. Everybody in the place hit the fucking deck, but stay on your motherfucking toes. We running this, let's go.
What up? We're back.
Hello. Welcome to I'm on a Podcast, the weekly SNL recap show. I'm Andrew Clemes.
And I'm Kamil Dimek.
Today, season 44, episode 4 with Jonah Hill. I think we can just get to it right off the top. Not the world's best episode, so today I think we're going to cover the sketches, their typical, our favorites, the worst, people's choice, what we think is going to be. But I think we'll also cover some other bits, like state of SNL.
There's a quote from Taran Killam that's pretty interesting.
Yeah. Some stuff around Pete Davidson that we'll want to talk about.
Let's talk about the Five Timers Club.
Yeah.
Because not a lot of people know about that. But yeah, we hit a slump. This episode. It couldn't have lasted forever. The last episode was pretty good.
Yeah.
The ones before that as well. Jonah Hill, obviously, super bad. Wolf of Wall Street, Jump Street, Moneyball. Twice nominated.
Yeah. He was on the show to promote mid-90s.
Haven't seen it yet.
Which we haven't seen yet, but
Sounds
seems
good.
to get decent reviews. But I had quite high hopes for him on the show.
Yeah.
Because he's been funny before.
Yeah.
And I don't think it was necessarily his fault that it wasn't the world's greatest show, but it was just a bit of a letdown.
What's wrong with him? Can we just I know that's not our structure, but can we talk about the monologue first?
Yeah. So here's my thing on him. I've not on purpose, but just randomly have been watching a lot of his press tour for this movie because he's done a lot of press, mostly because, his movies doesn't have any really famous people. It doesn't really have many actors in it. Most of the kids in the movie, I think, are first-time actors. So he's
skaters.
Yeah,
real
they're
people.
actually real kids, not actors. So he's had to do basically all the press for the movie, and he's gone from being maybe it sounds like it's on purpose, funny guy Jonah Hill from Superbad, to being an actor, very serious, very artsy. He says the word creator and artist a lot and stuff. So
he got weird though. Can I do it? I'll do a quick impression. It's wow, it's amazing to be on this podcast. Shout out to my sister Beanie Feldstein.
Dude, he's shouting her out loads.
She's in Lady Bird. She's amazing.
Is he trying to I guess he's trying to help her career, her name recognition and stuff. I don't know.
Yeah, he's just he's also kissing ass in every interview.
Yeah, if you want to see him if you watch the Breakfast Club interview he did, which is the Breakfast Club is a hip hop station in New York with Charlemagne the God and people like that. Oh my God, it's
yeah, he's kissing ass a lot.
Huge, it's unbelievable.
Yeah, he was doing The Ringer and shout out to The Ringer, of course. And he was also can I just stop you for a little bit and just say how amazing it is, this moment right here that we're talking about my movie. I'm dude, just chill out. You've been in the business for a long time.
Yeah, I don't know, man. But anyways, so he's had a slightly.
But then his monologue was different. He acted like he swallowed a robot or
Yeah, I expected him to be a bit more kind of natural and he's not a stand-up comic, but I expect his timing maybe to be a bit better.
He couldn't read the cue cards and he was oh, hi Tina, and okay.
Yeah, we can get to the Five Timers Club.
Yeah, let's go back to that.
So basically the whole monologue centers around this idea of the Five Timers Club.
Yeah.
Which is people who have hosted the show 5 times. Mm-hmm. So you have the list of the Five Timers Club.
There's 20 people on it, and now...
Which I think kind of ruins it, because it used to be quite an exclusive club, if you want to call it that, of people who were, had hosted the show many times because they were good, and it was kind of their thing. And even if they weren't the most famous people at the time, you always looked forward to when they hosted SNL, because they always did a really good job. But now 20 people is quite a long list.
And actually... Drew Barrymore showed up in kind of the monologue and the Five Timers Club thing, and it took her the longest. I have the stats of how long it took everybody to actually reach the Five Timers, and it actually took her the longest to get in there. Okay. 24 years.
Well, but that's because she first hosted it when she was for E.T., right?
Yeah.
When she was a small.
Was she 7?
Yeah,
6?
she was a kid.
Yeah.
But okay, why don't you just run through the list of people?
You want to hear all of them?
Yeah, go for it.
So the first one is also the guy who did it fastest was Buck Henry. Do you know who Buck Henry is?
I can't say I know who Buck Henry is.
Buck Henry.
Is Buck Henry still alive?
I had to read up on him. So he's alive. He's 89, still kicking ass. But basically, he's like a screenwriter, a little bit of an actor. He wrote The Graduate. He wrote Heaven Can Wait. He was nominated for an Oscar as well. And he did it fastest. He did it like 10 times between 76 and 80.
Okay.
So good for him. I guess like he's known for like kind of like having boring shows. So the joke is that they never told him that there's a 5-timers club.
Right.
And I actually have to see something on YouTube because apparently, remember the samurai sketch with Belushi?
Yeah.
So one time Belushi cut his head.
During that sketch?
During that sketch with his katana.
Okay.
And he had to wear
like
a Band-Aid. Yeah, like throughout the whole show from then. But okay, let's get on with the list. So he did it fastest. That was like 1 year that he got to the club.
Yeah.
Then it's Steve Martin, of course, Elliot Gould, Paul Simon, but he did 4 times, but because he was a guest, like musical guest, he got in there. Chevy Chase, Candice Bergen, who showed up in this one as well.
In the monologue, yeah.
In the monologue. Tom Hanks, Danny DeVito, John Goodman, Alec Baldwin, who hosted 17 times. Yeah, we can get to him.
Okay.
Bill Murray, Christopher Walken, Drew Barrymore, Justin Timberlake, Ben Affleck, Tina Fey, Scarlett Johansson, Melissa McCarthy, Dwayne Johnson, and now Jonah Hill.
Okay, wow. A lot of people, I wouldn't have suspected Melissa McCarthy
or Dwayne The Rock.
Dwayne The Rock Johnson. They must have done it in quite short periods as well.
No, it took Dwayne Johnson 17 years, man.
Oh, but he probably had 3 or 4 in quite short succession. Like, I imagine he did it once when he was like The Rock, like the wrestler, and then
probably
since he's become the movie star, probably did it back to back a bunch of times. Yeah, I don't know. Like, they did the whole thing with the 5-timers jackets again and all that kind of stuff. But
I always enjoyed these in the past, when like Timberlake joined and all that, and because I always felt like, they can do something funny with the writing. Now it's very awkward.
Yeah, it's a bit meaningless. And it's not meaningless, but it is a bit meaningless. Now, when you start to get to 20 people, and some of those people have hosted, like, would you say for Alec Baldwin 16 times? 17 times? I mean, 5 times now means what? Like nothing, right?
Yeah.
So
it's this old tradition. It's one of those SNL things, right?
But anyways, going back to the monologue itself, it was disappointing. I think the best, Tina Fey was the best bit about it. She had like clearly the best timing, clearly like at least the best delivery of the jokes in it. So
anyway, welcome to the 5-timers club.
Oh my God, thank you, fellow 5-timer.
Don't say it, just be it. And listen, when we get to the 5-timers lounge, just be cool.
Oh my God, we're going to the 5-timers lounge?
Jonah.
Right, sorry. Okay, let's go. You got it.
Anyways, a bit disappointed.
Yeah, it was good to see Candice Bergen and Drew Barrymore, but they could have done so much more with it. Jonah Hill was so awkward. I couldn't watch it, and let's go back. Well, last week was Seth Meyers, right?
Yeah.
And you read something online that's pretty interesting.
Yeah, so coming off the Seth Meyers episode, which we both thought was probably, we're only 4 episodes in, was probably the best episode of the year.
The best so far.
Yep. Came across this, he was doing an interview on Watch What Happens Live with Andy Cohen, where they asked him about a quote from Taran Killam, who's an old cast member on SNL, who was there during when Seth Meyers was there. And the quote from Taran Killam basically says that he left the show because he thought SNL wasn't a great place to work anymore, and he thought that kind of happened around the time that Seth Meyers left, and that when Seth Meyers left, it went back to kind of the old days of being super competitive and not very nice place to work, and it kind of came across that he thinks SNL has kind of suffered as a result of that, and that this new generation of cast members kind of post the Amy Poehler, Tina Fey, Seth Meyers era, that show maybe isn't what it was. And they asked him about that on the show, Seth Meyers, and he said, obviously he had hosted the show like a week ago, so he said like, no, I love all the people there, I think they're great. To me, it didn't come across as like super convincing. No. I believe that he likes all the people there.
Yeah, but it didn't come out. I watched that clip after you told me about it, and it seemed like he's being a little bit dishonest.
I don't think he probably really believes that the show is as good as it was when he was on, but he's obviously not going to say that.
Yeah. What do you think about it? It said something about the digital shorts.
So
we talked about that.
The other part of the Taran Killam quote was he said, which exactly what we've been saying, that there's a lot of pre-taped sketches now more than there ever was before, and that, it's just the vibe of the show is a lot different than it was when he was there. It's stuff that we've been saying for a while now that, it's two things have dominated SNL in recent years, like the pre-tape sketches and political humor that is been coupled with the sort of celebrity guest appearances, which I think both of those at the beginning were like really cool and like really fun and had like really, at least positive impact on the show, probably ratings wise and views wise, because it got a huge bump from all the celebrity guests and all the the Trump impressions and all the like the pre-tape sketches that the production value is obviously a lot higher and they can go viral probably more easily. But as they drag on, like SNL's core is just like weird funny sketches that maybe aren't necessarily political, that are timeless, if you want to put it that way.
There's two things that we've been mentioning a lot over like those 4 episodes. That Weekend Update is the most fun part of it,
it's the best bit of the
it's
show,
the best bit, and they're not putting enough effort into writing of the sketches, right?
Yeah.
And it's obvious when they don't have a point, or sometimes they're aimless, or they're a cheap joke, which we're gonna see. Like, we saw a lot of this week. So there is a point to what he's saying, although it's not the first time we hear like a disgruntled ex-employee story.
True.
Jay Moore wrote a whole book about it.
Yeah.
I don't know how to take it. Obviously the show has to change and adapt to the times.
Yeah.
But maybe there's a point to it. I got a little bit annoyed with the amount of digital shorts. I think it's a cheap way of... it's almost as if they care more about YouTube views than the quality of the show and maintaining what it used to be. Yeah,
and I think it also comes from the pool of talent that they're kind of growing the cast from. That they, it used to be, like we said back in the day, it was pretty much people from a stand-up comedy background or from like an improv background, right? And now, like, you get like Kyle Mooney and those guys were YouTube stars, I guess stars, but like YouTube performers before. So like their background comes from making like digital shorts, essentially, like lower budget ones, but digital shorts. So it's not surprising that when you bring them on the cast, their strength is creating digital shorts. But
they should cater to developing those talents in different ways, though.
Yeah, no, but part of the thing has been that people get to SNL and they bring their skills to the program, but they also adapt to what SNL is, which is like a live sketch comedy show. Yeah. And like looking at this week, like, well, let's just do it now quickly, so we kind of make our point. But like, what was your favorite sketch from this week?
Oh, God,
that if we say it every week, your favorite sketch that wasn't part of Weekend Update, that wasn't pre-taped, like what was your favorite sketch?
I honestly started switching off this week. So like I was like, wait, where was I with this sketch? Because it wasn't, the writing was really bad. If I had to say that what's my favorite one, it would be the America's Got Talent. Just because of the idea. Yeah. Oh, they're actually good.
Yeah.
And that was the only time where I could maybe see Jonah Hill putting in an effort.
You know how to write music?
I can't say I have.
Wow. Well, go ahead, give it a shot.
Thank you, man.
Joseph, you know what they say. Hey, I'm Joseph, you'll make it someday. Shower on Joseph, you're doing just fine. You and your dreams are ahead of your time. What? You didn't think she could sing, did you? You monster! And look at Howie Mandel. It's like
that was kind of cool. But other than that,
I like that one, but it's like it's a funny concept and I liked it, but it's kind of one of those things where as soon as they've done it twice, okay, you see where the joke is going. It's good. I like it. My favorite one was probably the Benihana one, which is a repeat of, they've done that sketch. What's the kid's name in it? Adam Grossman, whatever. Adam Grossman. It's a funny sketch. Like, it's one that they've done 4 times now.
Oh, there's 2 of them, Will. I like your chances tonight. As for me, it looks like I'll be spending another evening with my right hand in a sock. What? I'm making a sock puppet. I'm 6 years old. Let's just calm down, Adam. I'm only joking. Sheesh. Talk about a wet blankie. I love you to death, but sometimes you're about as fun as apple slices for dessert. I'm kidding. She's good people. We spent a lot of time with each other since my parents' divorce day.
He was like in one interview, he was really happy that getting way over too excited. Like, oh my God, I got my own sketch, at SNL, and I can repeat every single time. I just feel like there's a certain repetition to it, and they're not like really evolving with it. Yeah. And it reminds me of what was the sketch with Molly Shannon when she's just like,
It's Sally O'Malley. I'm proud to say that I'm 50 years old. I'm not one of those gals who's afraid to tell her real age, and I like to kick, stretch, and kick. I'm 50.
Yeah. I see what you mean.
It's just based on lines.
Yeah, I mean, the reason I like that one, I think it was best because, I don't know, personally I just found it funniest, but is to me the one where, like, you got to see, like, Jonah Hill, the comic actor, the most. Yeah. Like, where he, like, was really doing an impression. Like, it was basically all him just reading, like, lines and jokes.
Yeah, left a little bit too much.
Yeah. But, I mean, but other than that, it was like a pretty weak to mediocre.
The proposal thing.
Yeah,
not funny at all.
I mean,
dog infomercial is the typical evidence where they don't know what to write, so they pull out little cute dogs.
And just put them in wigs.
Yeah, let's put dogs in wigs because we have no idea what to do.
To be fair, like I think I put that one down as my people's choice. I think that one's going to get the most views going into next year. Just because I think it's the type of thing that people would share, not because I think it's the funniest, but I don't know. If I had to choose one.
Could be. This is taped, but Huck a PM.
Yeah.
I kind of enjoy, but also a little, it's one joke, basically, with just her falling down. I just found it funny, like how it's shot.
But again, like a pre-taped sketch.
It's a pre-taped thing. I hate it. Teacher fell down.
Ha. Teacher fell down.
Are you okay?
Yeah, because you really fell down there.
No, do you need, like, help?
No. It's too late for that. Teacher's on the ground, like a silly little girl. Well, I'm not a little girl, and I
couldn't wait for that to be over.
See to me, like, that's the type of thing that like SNL is really good at, like those kind of super weird sketches. So to me, it was one of those ones that was like, it was almost there. Like, I laughed a few bit, but then it just went on way too long, and I was like,
you want more of these kind of sketches where they kind of do something completely off the hook, It's weird, and like there's comedy in it, but this one didn't work out for me.
It was one of those typical SNL ones where like, it was funny, but it was way too long. Like, that's what people say all the time. So
cold open, completely like...
Yeah, it was fine. I mean, it wasn't... To me, that it was cool because it wasn't Kate McKinnon's best impression in my mind, but kind of like the Jonah Hill Benihana sketch. It was like all her. It was basically all her, like, to camera. It was all her jokes, pretty much. Like, she threw to a few other cast members throughout of it, but it really shows, like, okay, I was watching it the whole time. Like, she can carry an entire cold open by herself. Like, she is properly the star of that show.
I just think it was like almost the way it was structured. It was almost like the puppy situation where they had to use clips to almost make the jokes funnier. When they showed the crabs and they showed the Black Friday. Or something.
It was funny. It was funny though. But like, it was. It wasn't their best.
And they giggled at their own jokes a lot.
Yeah, a lot of breaking. But what was your People's Choice one? Which one do you think is going to get the most views over the next week?
I'm still gonna go with America's Got Talent because
that was my second choice
because it's a popular show. People love it in America, so I think that's gonna get most views.
Melissa Villaseñor had a pretty big role on this show, which to be honest I should have seen coming because she did a bit on Fallon on the Tonight Show like a few days before where she did like musical impressions where she was like singing in different people's voices, and she has like a really good voice. So clearly there was like a setup there, like, hey, she's going to do it on Fallon. that video will go viral, show people she has a really good voice, and then the following week she was singing on SNL.
To anyone who's listening, check out her YouTube channel. There's great impressions there of her, like actually in makeup, and she's doing Owen Wilson and Gwen Stefani. That's where she's actually nailing them really well. She's doing them in her bedroom and all that, so it's really cool.
She's really good. And I to be honest, I liked her bit on Weekend Update.
Oh yeah, funny.
It was super funny.
Obviously, Weekend Update is still like the best part. Which it's slowly making me feel sad.
For me, like everything about Weekend Up, like the jokes were written better. The Big Papi, like I know you're not a baseball fan probably, so you know Big Papi probably doesn't.
I do enjoy the impression,
but like to me, it's a great one as like a baseball fan. Obviously, okay, we have to talk about Pete Davidson.
Yeah,
because
there's a controversy there.
Well, there's two. To me, there's like two.
There's two.
Like, okay, let's talk about the eye patch joke first of all.
So I think let's quote the moment.
You may be surprised to hear he's a congressional candidate from Texas and not a hitman in a porno movie. I'm sorry, I know he lost his eye in war or whatever. Whatever. All right. Well,
basically he said
he's making fun of the way that various Congress people look like because the midterm elections were coming up, and so he was making fun of the way people look, and there was a guy.
Then gets to Dan Crenshaw, who has an eye patch. He's a vet. He lost his eye in Afghanistan, 2012.
Yeah,
I mean, obviously that's terrible, but there's a joke in there where he calls him a hitman in a porno film.
I laughed when
I laughed at it, but then unnecessarily, and I read that wasn't scripted. He said when people reacted to the joke positively, like he said, "Oh, what? He lost his eye in the war, like whatever."
Yeah,
and apparently that wasn't written there. He just like added that. He just said it, and that created a whole problem. People said that like he should apologize. They apologized. Even Keaton Thompson commented that missed the mark.
Yeah, he shouldn't have done it.
He shouldn't have done it, and basically they called for him to get him fired, but he's not going to get fired. Then Crenshaw a reply where he said he's got a thick skin, but that just wasn't funny. And let's admit it wasn't funny. It was a stupid thing of him to add that little comment.
Yeah, I mean, he shouldn't. I mean,
yeah.
I don't know. I kind of err on the side of like, you know, people kind of gotta not get over it, but kind of like deal with that stuff when you're in the public eye. But yeah, I get if you're making fun of the way Congress people look, that's fine. A guy has an eye patch, fine, make the joke. But yeah, you don't need to like kind of say you don't care that he lost it.
It was it was immature. But a big statement here. I'm starting to like him.
Pete Davidson.
Yeah.
See, I'm starting to go the opposite way.
It's because
the other big thing that happened was obviously since the last week, him and Ariana Grande have split up.
Yeah, I mean not for that, of course. Like
sorry?
I don't like him because of that. I just think he's got balls.
But the thing. So what happened? Obviously, because basically every week this season, there's been some kind of reference to their relationship on the show, right? So this week there was another, not reference, but at the end of his little set on Weekend Update, he basically just said straight to camera, like, oh, I know everyone's asking about the breakup, but, she's a beautiful, strong woman and we're still friends and blah, 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 blah. He literally made a statement to camera about his relationship with Ariana Grande during Weekend Up. It was just so weird.
But that wasn't written or anything. Apparently he decided to do that at the last moment.
It's so weird that he feels the need to do that, and the show at least somewhat accommodates him to do that. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think there's too much.
But she dropped a song or something.
Yeah, I listened to it.
Did you?
Thank You Next.
Thank You Next.
Yeah, it's actually I don't know. It's a bit kind of throwing a bit shade at yeah. Anyways,
that's how they.
But
make money.
it's just I don't know. SNL is it's satire, right? In that sense, when they're talking about politics or pop culture, they're not meant to be the story themselves. they're meant to be kind of making fun of the story or parroting the story. But so I think it becomes, you get into a real dicey situation, like when you start becoming the story yourself. And like Pete Davidson has been the story himself. And it's been cool to see because he's been pretty self-deprecating about everything, which is good to see. Like he can make fun of himself. Like his opening joke was like he has to move back into his mom's house. Like that's funny. It's like, but I just think it's weird when then at the end you have to make some sort of weird statement to camera.
And the last thing I will say is I know some of you are curious about the breakup, but the truth is it's nobody's business, and sometimes things just don't work out, and that's okay. She's a wonderful, strong person, and I genuinely wish her all the happiness in the world. Now, please go vote on Tuesday, all right?
I think he just wanted to bookend this thing, and I don't think we're going to hear about it again for a while. I think like it would be weird if he didn't say anything, considering how much there was already said about it. You know, but I think, yeah. Well, hopefully it's the end. But yeah, that was done. But I'm starting to like him just because he seems like a ballsy guy. I like him apart from the, like, I don't even think about him as part of the show anymore. Like I think about him.
He's like a separate entity.
He's a separate entity, and he's a ballsy young guy who doesn't give a shit. And you know,
I completely agree. Because one thing I will give him credit for is that like he's really self-deprecating, and like he'll make fun of himself like as easily as anything else, probably more easily than making fun of someone else. So I think that's quite cool. He was really like cool of him to kind of put his relationship out there, realize it was part of the story, and not say, no, I'm not going to make jokes about it. And like he really like made some quite like harsh jokes about, which maybe led to the fact of why they're not together anymore, but whatever. Like I'll give him credit for that. I just think it's weird when you have to listen to him make like a little like confessional on Weekend Update. And then only because they became the story earlier in the year when Kanye West came on and was doing weird stuff, you know, wearing the MAGA hat and ranting to people after the show ended and stuff like that. You know, again, like you've become the story. So I don't know. Anyways, that's a bit of a sidetrack, but
let's talk about Maggie Rogers. Like the performance really quick. Did you like it? I mean, I know I was bigging her up before, and I was like, because she came from that whole like thing on YouTube where she was in school, and Pharrell came, and she not performed, like she played the song to Pharrell, and Pharrell was like, wow, that's really good. And then her career blew up, right? And I really like her early songs. It's just like this didn't do it for me. It was just like a typical blonde girl like running around on stage. And
I mean, I have to admit, yes, her dance moves were a bit like.
But you like the songs?
A bit out there. No, as someone who had never heard of her before, who was genuinely excited to hear, like, let's call her like a breakout star on SNL, doing a proper live performance for basically the first time this whole season, right? Like something that was sung live from an artist that maybe a lot of people didn't know or hadn't heard before.
The songs are called Light On and Falling Water.
I really liked them. I thought they were good. And I really liked that it was a proper live performance. That was just like her band on stage singing live, as opposed to like Travis Scott or Kanye West or some of the others that was like huge productions. A lot of it like either auto-tuned or playback or.
No, she's a great performer.
So
I just like
her voice is really good. Like
as a fan, I enjoyed her stuff before, and now it just seemed a little bit meh.
I had her down kind of like the winner of the episode. I thought she was really good. Yeah? Yeah, I thought it was like a breath of fresh air for like the episode.
Let's talk about the winner. So that's your winner? Well, or no, you can like do a cast member.
I'm gonna say Melissa Villaseñor.
Okay. Yeah, she had a good bit and
the musical thing. Good bit on Update. Good bit in the America's Got Talent sketch.
Yeah, and then but like I meant the thing that was basically this weird musical, the film musical. She still had like she was like the Statue of Liberty being all flirty. Yeah, that was pretty okay. So that's yours. I would say Pete Davidson's hair. No, I think like Pete Davidson kind of still won it for me. Just I think he's like for his career and like just like putting himself out there, like he was the talk of the show with the controversy with Ariana Grande, even his stupid hair, like he was still the biggest person in there. I mean, and not even because he wasn't any good sketches.
Yeah,
the boy's winning so far.
I guess technically you're right. Like he will be probably the most talked about bit of the show, but. Yeah, I'll give it to Melissa Villaseñor just because I think or Maggie Rogers, just because I think like they performed the best. So yeah.
So, all in all, a slump, a pretty bad episode with some interesting moments, but not because of the quality of the show, but more of what's been going on around the show.
Yeah.
Also, Alec Baldwin kicked some guy's ass, and they're kind of scared to comment on it as well.
They made a little joke,
but that was like because they can show the picture of him in the sketch with Adam Sandler when he's supposed to be like the kind of molesting.
Yeah. They made a joke about that
guy, and I don't know. It just seemed like they were afraid to make a joke about it, like actually call him out on.
It's part of the poem. They're becoming too much of the story. Like you said, he's hosted the show 16 times. Like, you can't like get away from that. Like, you invited Kanye West to open up your show and he does something crazy. Like, you allow Pete Davidson to put like his personal life on air. Like, you know what I mean? It's gonna detract from the actual
times.
sketches.
These are weird times where some characters and then the people on the show are becoming the focus on it, and not in a good way.
Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. Oh, let's go to People's Choice from last week.
So, guess.
Oh, I can't remember now.
I don't know. Like, what was your favorite
from last week?
I remember what we were saying. We were saying was it the Fright Night? I think we thought
the campfire
story. That's what we said that would have the most views.
I think,
and it's not.
Oh,
yeah, it's jail cellmate. The Cosby thing.
Oh, the Cosby one. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, it makes sense. It's topical, and it was pretty funny.
It was funny,
but I mean, we said it wouldn't count, but I think it's worth mentioning. The actual biggest views was the Kanye opening, 9.2, while the Cosby thing had 3.2.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I mean, the Kanye thing was pretty funny. 9.2 for YouTube, like for SNL, it's actually quite a lot in like such a short time.
Well, what are you going for next week? I'm going for Pugs wigs.
Pugs. America's Got Talent.
Yeah,
Let's go with that. Go with that. To be honest, I don't care about these sketches this week, so not a fun thing. But we see what happens. Who's hosting next week?
Liev Schreiber.
Interesting.
I can't remember who the musical guest is, but he'll be an interesting host because
could be very funny actually because he's such a serious actor and such a
could be another Adam Driver situation.
Yeah, he's an intimidating guy.
Yeah,
let's just say that. So I'm excited about that one.
Cool. All right.
So
next time,
can I just do one thing?
Yeah, go for it.
Shout out to Beanie Feldstein. She was in Lady Bird.